My name is Joanne Meeson, and I'm 49 years old. I was in an abusive relationship for about 10 years, and I have been out of it for, just going into my third year now. My story began when I was doing some online dating. So I ended up meeting this one guy, and at first I wasn't really attracted to him, like his picture, but he wrote this whole thing to me, like he had really read everything that I had in my profile, and that's what really turned me on. Like, wow, he's like intelligent and stuff. And we immediately kind of hit it off, especially on the phone, and we chatted a lot. My daughter was really young at the time. I would say around 3. I didn't have her every other weekend, so I would dedicate those every other weekends to, maybe seeing someone if it came about. And so it finally did. And we had a great time. We laughed a lot. And it just kind of took off like a rocket. He was really good at bringing out feelings in me and just a really good listener. And it was awesome. And I just felt like, wow, this is so great. I can talk to this person and have fun, and everything else just kind of started. We just went running with it. We would always talk a little bit about our past, but apparently that was something that he was never ever really comfortable with. I started saying, oops, I can't say, oh my God, I remember the last time I was here, because then it would be, who are you with? And an interview would commence that I thought he was just asking questions, but it wasn't. He was interviewing me as he wanted more details, so he could surmise if this was a good thing or if this was something to put on the books as, oh my God, you have went on so many dates and, stuff like that. But after about a year and a half, we decided he had 2 kids. We would all move in together. Before we moved in together is when we had our very first big fight. So we're at his place, and all of a sudden he just said, you know what, I can't even look at you anymore. He, went into this whole thing about how horrible of a person I was. I can't believe you've dated so many guys. And I don't even know where, he got so many guys, but apparently, a point had been reached in his head that I should have stopped dating at some point. And yeah, it was horrifying. I just went, what? And he goes, I need to talk to my mom again. I don't even know if I can really be with you anymore. And it still makes me emotional because I'll never forget that. Sitting there thinking the whole time, what did I say? Or what should I have not said, to lead him to this? And because I thought everything was so great. And looking back, it's like, wow, he was so manipulative to, completely take me in and just make me feel so safe and comfortable and everything. And then all of a sudden, he wouldn't answer my phone calls or anything like that. And then he came back and he said he was really sorry. He goes, but, I talked to my sister and my mom, and they said that sometimes people date a lot and, that I shouldn't be mad at you. And I'm just sitting there going, okay. I mean, I say this right now and I'm going, how did I just say, what? How didn't I not stand up for myself and go, you know what? You don't deserve me. Thank you for showing me this side. Yeah, so I took him back and we moved in together, and it was like a 6 to 8 month cycle where everything was great, which you talk about the honeymoon period. It would be awesome. I mean, seriously, our kids were great together. And then something bad would happen. It wasn't just a little bad, it was a big bad. He was checking my phone, and I refused to put a lock on my phone. I could not believe, and I still can't believe, to this day, that someone could be like that and talk like that. And in our arguments, say all those horrible things and cuss words. And how can you do that? And I would never reciprocate. I would always just kind of sit there and be flabbergasted. So they just went south. The defining moment where I felt like things might start really turning into a physical abusive relationship was I was taking my daughter to a volleyball tournament, and he was questioning something about money, and I said, I'm headed out the door right now. Things are just kind of crazy. And he called me a fucking cunt, and he slammed his fist into the kitchen cabinet of something we didn't even own as my daughter was walking into the kitchen. It was a sad home. And I was worried about how much the kids had seen. And how do I stay strong? How do I pretend like everything's okay and whatever, and just ignore that part? So we moved into our second house, and about 5 months into that house, I lost my job. And it was also the year that we were going to be getting married. I really started feeling trapped when I got laid off. In 2009, or maybe it was 10, I don't even know anymore. And I remember looking at this as I'm, watching the kids leave and him leave, and it says, relationship will implode from power imbalance. Get out now. And I was like, well, that's kind of an interesting one. And this gal writes in about dating a great guy. We get along, we have fun. Her situation, they'd only been together for 4 months. And she goes in to say, I have issues from my past. Her person continued to bring these instances up and believes them as hurdles in the relationship and her character. And he asks probing questions about the details, acts very cold and mean to me. And I walk away feeling horrible at myself. And at this point, I am feeling like I am 700 pounds sitting in this chair. I can't even move. And she goes on, do my past mistakes make my character permanently flawed? Do I need to think about these mistakes more than I do? How can I respond to his anger? I feel that there are many things I will never be able to share with him because he would judge me so severely. And I feel like I'm not good enough for him. What should I do about it? And I go, oh my God, that's exactly, there's been so many things that I've never been able to share because of that. How can someone hate you for whatever you did in the past? And response was break up with him immediately. That's what you do about someone who shames you to the point that you withhold the truth about yourself and doubt your own worth. But doesn't seem to break up with you despite judging you severely. And shouldn't he if you're so horrible? And I just went, that's it. Like, oh my God, I got to get out of this. Like, and it just goes on about how those kind of people can be. And I had never even heard of those kind of people. And the whole time I just thought it was me, me, me. And it was like so refreshing. But at the same time, I was like, holy shit, I'm doing work. I have no job. And I can't find work. I can't even get anyone to like respond to a resume. Like, it made me feel so great. At the same time, it took me another 2.5 years to get out. So then I even had to be more on eggshells because I couldn't let anything even worse happen because I had nowhere to go. Then I kind of started feeling a little cornered. So you start like really faking everything. Magically enough, at the end of 2012, a job from like 10 years ago, I got a pension. I got like $12,000. Looking at this going, oh my God, this is it. And now I need to find part-time work or something because at least I have this money. I started talking to a girlfriend of mine a little bit more intimately, telling her about my situation. And she was able to get me a temporary full-time job. From there, magically, I got just this other job. When I secured that job, I told him I'm looking for apartments. I mean, by then, it was obvious. If you're with the person that you're supposed to be with, you should be able to come home at the end of the day and not feel like a hesitation opening up that door, ever. If you're feeling a hesitation, you need to maybe not open the door and go figure out why. Now, a woman's place to me is wherever you really want to take it. And it's also, for me right now, the ability to look ahead. It's really hard to imagine yourself doing exactly what you want sometimes, especially as a mother. But I tell you, being a single parent is possible. If that's the one thing holding you up, no way. I mean, it's possible, and there's lots of people that do it. And it's amazing when you are single parenting, the new family that unfolds around you as you realize there's so many other single parents out there. I don't know what I would have done had I not read that article.